Hey, it's Deborah Atkinson, host of the Flipping 50 TV show and the Flipping 50 podcast, and I want to give you a really brief introduction to this set of exercises for back pain or back pain prevention and or some of the best core exercises that you're going to find that will help you not have to worry about back pain at all. Number one, forget and throw away your crunches and your sit-ups. So, there's a couple of things that you want to consider. Sit-ups and crunches notoriously have been linked to lower back pain, but some of us are more prone to that than others, and that is partially genetics. So if you have got a more thick spine from your parents, you're more likely to be injured. Now that seems probably non-intuitive, but someone who has a more lean and thin spine is going to have less resistance and less friction, essentially, when they're doing crunches and sit-ups. But it is those motions, repeated forward flexion over and over and over, that actually weaken the spine and continue to put pressure over and over again on your discs. So you've heard of a bulging disc. Hopefully you've never experienced one, and I hope that you never will. One of the ways you can reduce your risk for a bulging disc is to stop doing crunches and sit-ups. So there are some ways you can do a modified, very modified type of a crunch and not actually come forward, but few of us will do that. I'm going to demonstrate one right here so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. It would be coming back in this format, and instead of doing what we're used to seeing, so don't do that, you would be here bringing your ribs and hips slightly closer together, but imagining your head is on a bathroom scale, and all you're going to do is pick your head up and take it off the scale. So what you'll feel if you have your hand here, so when you come up, your abdominals do go on, but they don't go on in a way that compromises your discs and forward flex your spine, which is what causes all of the problems. So if you turn your abs on without compressing, then it's much safer to do. So again, remember this rule of thumb. Certain exercises that are good for some people actually can be harmful for the others, even when we throw out the forward flexion that we know causes risk of injury to everyone. Someone with a thicker spine is going to be more likely to be injured sooner. Somebody with a thinner spine is a lot less likely to be injured right away, but it's a matter of time. So if over time you're doing hundreds of sit-ups or even dozens of sit-ups a day, it's not that you're getting more strong and more toned and less likely to be injured. It's that you're doing every repetition getting closer and closer to that moment of injury. There are two kinds of core exercise and movement that affects the spine. One is actually movement, motion, like a crunch or a sit-up, and one is just the moment, and that means really when you push something or you pull something. So there's not forward flexion, there just is pressure. So last but not least, I'm going to give you one short tip in this really brief video, and that is this, that the best time to exercise, for most people, we've always said, is the best time you will exercise. It's the time of day you will. But for a lot of people, that ends up being morning or early morning because we're a lot less likely to be interrupted, right, at 5:30 in the morning than we are at 5:30 at night, or to have life have gotten in the way and given us fatigue or an excuse not to exercise. But what I want you to remember is being up for at least an hour after you have woken up and been upright. All you need to be doing is reading the paper or drinking your coffee so that gravity can help reduce the spinal fluid in your discs. When you wake up, Your discs have pumped or plumped up because overnight you've been horizontal and gravity hasn't been acting on them. That pressure increases your risk of injury with any spinal movement or moment, meaning even if you're simply pushing and pulling or lifting, not necessarily rotating or twisting, forward flexion, but definitely those things will apply. All of those things will increase your risk of injury at a time when your discs are plumped up because they add pressure to the spine even when those discs are not plumped up. It takes about an hour for about 90% of that space, that intervertebral disc, to decrease in all of the fluid that's accumulated overnight, and then you will be much safer. So you want to be upright. If you're going to an early morning exercise class, you want to be up early enough to be from here to the point where you're going to start your exercise, to have that be about an hour. That's important, whether you have a back injury now or you don't. It's true for all of us that those discs plump up overnight and increase your intervertebral pressure, even though I can't pronounce that. So let me know if you have questions, drop them below, and until next time, I'll see you on the flip side.